Good morning, everybody. Myself, Acharya Vishvendra, and today I'm going to discuss a worksheet on transverse waves. So let's begin with the worksheet. So here is the worksheet on transverse waves. So the first question is, for transverse waves, angle between particle velocity and wave velocity. So it is 90 degree. As you can see over here, wave is moving along x-axis and particles are vibrating along y-axis. Next is speed of transverse wave. So in a string, speed of transverse wave is root under T by mu, where T is the tension in the string and mu is the mass per unit length. Next is Vt graph. So from here we can see that V is proportional to root T. So the graph will be a parabola turning toward T axis like this. Then we have a graph between V versus root T. So graph between V versus root T will be a straight line as shown in the figure. Then is the graph between V and mu. So V is proportional to 1 by root mu. That means graph will be having a shape like rectangular hyperbola. It is shape like, because exact equation is it should be proportional to 1 by u. Next is if we draw graph between V versus 1 by mu. So we can say that we take 1 by mu as x. So V is proportional to root x. So again the graph will be a parabola. Next is graph between V and 1 by root mu. So take 1 by root mu as x. So we can say that V is proportional to x. So the graph again will be a straight line. Next we have a question that a wave pulse is generated in a string having mass m and length L, and at a certain point which is at a distance of x from the top. We need to find the speed of transverse wave at that point. So using the equation V is equals to root T by mu. So tension will be equal to the mass of the weight of the string below this part. So mass per unit length is m by L, and if this is x, then this length of the lower part, that is going to be L minus x. So that will be L minus x into g. Mu is mass per unit length. So speed comes out to be root g into L minus x. Next is Vx graph. So the Vx graph here will be a parabola, and at x is equal to 0, V will be root gl, and at x is equal to L, V will be 0. So it will be a parabola like this. Next is time taken by pulse to move from A to B. So we take V as dx by dt, which will be this. So integrating the above expression, we get T as 2 root L by g. Next question is wavelength at A is lambda. Find wavelength at B. B is this point. So here we can say that frequency remains same. So V1 by lambda 1 is V2 by lambda 2. And we can see that at point B, tension will be 0. So that means lambda 2 will also be 0 at this point. Next question is, there are two strings identical in length. One wave is generated from the top, another from the bottom, and we need to find time taken by wave to move from A to B. So from calculations we can show that time taken from A to B will be equal to time taken from B to A, and that will be twice root L by G. Next is time taken by wave to move from B to A. It is the same time. Next is at what time two waves will meet. So the two waves will meet at the time twice root 3L by 4G, which is root 3L by G. And next, at what distance from top two waves will meet? These will meet at 3L by 4. So you have seen that these are the basic level worksheets which are designed with the purpose to check your preparation, to optimize your preparation within a limited time. So as you have seen that we have covered you can say that 1.5 hour lecture or a 90-minute lecture into a 5-minute video. The purpose behind these worksheets is to check that if that when you are studying, is that according to the pattern of the exam, or is it just based on random study, hit and trial based study? Because when you are studying, your mind brain system is following a pattern, and you can create output or you can crack the competitive exam if that pattern is optimized for exams rather than your comfort zone, your comfort level. Most of the students like to study as per their convenience. They take study as a time pass thing, and they just think that just open your books and study is there. So it's not like that. Nowadays competitions are at its peak. You can't befool anybody with use of words. Everybody is smart enough these days. So Only those people who are truly skilled, who are truly studying, will be able to make it out. And if somebody is faking his study, trying to fake his qualification, that he'll not be able to cope up with the challenges. Because thing is that by default human brain is designed to make you survive. So if you have food, water, and shelter, then you don't be feeling like working. But if you want dare to think beyond the survival, then you have to fight with yourself. And that is called the flight mode in terms of neuroscience. But uh, most of the people, they just prefer remaining in their own belief systems because that keeps them safe. But they are not getting the point. Truth can't be hidden for long times. Something which has to happen will happen by itself. Nature has secret plans. Nature is working under its own protocols, and everything has to adapt according to uh, the rule of the nature. So that's why it is important to align yourself to adapt to the requirements. Obviously, cracking a competitive exam is a password to quality life. But for gaining that password, you have to work a lot. You have to face the emotional challenges. You have to dominate the flight mode of your mind. Most of the students are unable to do better in any field because they are not skilled. Because gaining skills means continuously focusing on developing certain neural patterns. And when these patterns are repeated over a certain time, you learn how to repeat those patterns and how to create the output, how to get the output. So significance is of the output, is of the result. Anything which is done to generate the output, any thought, any emotion, any feeling, is irrelevant. Significance is of the output, the final product, the answers. It's like as I have observed in life, life is like we are just machines to perform certain tasks, and it's being intelligently designed by somebody, which is beyond our beyond our imagination. You want or you don't want, rules of nature were like that, is like that, and will be like that always. So everybody has to adapt to those rules. If you'll go against the rules, you'll fall, you have to suffer. So keeping all these things in mind, we have tried our best to make sure to develop a checking system which makes sure that you are actually studying or just acting to study. Because nowadays what I have realized is everybody is comfortable with use of words. Everybody has learned psychological brainwashing to make you feel good. That is by talking to you in a certain way, using certain soft words, using a certain specific frequency of sound to induce happy feelings in you or dopamine in you. It's a very tactic used by people these days. And most of the people are trapped in that trick. They forget that what is their purpose. Ultimately, you have to earn money for your basic expenses. And if you are good with that, then you can do anything. There is no matter of concern. But if you are unable to get to complete your job, to complete your task, or to generate output in the work that you are doing, then all these psychological tricks are of no use to you. It has no impact in your life because your life, situations of your life are not going to change by any psychological brainwashing. Nobody talks to you freely. Are hidden purpose involved. So what I have realized is if you want to crack any competitive exams, then first thing is check yourself harshly, use different source of information to check that have you learned the neural patterns or are you just limited to certain specific patterns. As you must have seen, when somebody asks you a question, the first reaction of the mind is a flight mode activation. You feel anxiety, you feel depression, you feel low feelings, which shows that your brain has started the flight mode so as to save you from the ongoing stress. But thing is that you have to dominate that flight mode, otherwise you will not be able to do something better in your life. You will just ask questions, you will be having thoughts, you will be having issues, you will be having emotional conflicts. But if you are unable to get the answer, then all this melodramatic event is of no use. Because everybody is comfortable with use of words, doing melodramacy, acting in a certain way. But these are not significant, these are insignificant. So that is the purpose behind all these worksheets. These are designed to check that are you actually working, are you actually studying, or just acting to study. So if you are able to complete the worksheets within a limited time, that means your neural patterns are optimized for the exam. But if you feel anxiety, depression, low feelings, confusions, hallucinations, hurry, then that means your mind brain system has still not dominated the flight mode of the mind brain system. And you need to check that out, because if you are not able to dominate the flight mode of the mind, you will be unable to create some output in your life. And if you are not able to create the output, then your life will be miserable, because everybody around you, maybe family, maybe friends, they are connected to you when you can give them certain sort of output, certain sort of quality life. And that quality life is ultimately related to the processing of information within your mind brain system. So that is how things are connected at the neural level and at the level of the physicality, at the physical level and at the metaphysical level. So ultimately, whatever is going on inside your mind brain system has to do something with the quality of your life. And if you want to improve the quality of life, then first of all, improve the quality of working of the mind brain system. So that is the simple concept behind all these worksheets. Thank you and have a nice day.